Mr. Worldwide.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Global Brothers Podcast. We're here for our third installment of 4 inspirational and entrepreneurial women in association with UAE Africa Network, and it's your boy the Dandy. As always, my brother Keith. What's happening, brother?
How are you doing? Give me some.
Salute. Boom.
Hey, welcome everybody to another episode. We are excited. One of the highlights of my time with preparing is the research on everybody.
Okay, so we have 3 inspiring and entrepreneurial ladies. Actually, we have a little bit of a last minute dropout. One of our honorees, Collecte, she unfortunately had a situation that she could not reschedule and couldn't make it with us today. But we're still very proud of her accomplishments and what she's accomplished. So yeah, there's that. Anyhow, we have Ceri, Rocca, and Miss Comfort Adjahoe-Jennings. Comfort, we want to start with you. You're founder, a CEO. I mean, very much so a woman about business and of several different things. You're into your trade, including from shea butter to beads, crafts. Tell us a bit how you got into business and, kind of like how your network is, like, all the different artisans that you collaborate with, and just a bit about your drive.
Thank you for the opportunity to be part of this program today. I'm grateful to those who nominated me. I'm just doing what I'm doing. I didn't know people were watching. So my name is Comfort Adjahoe-Jennings, the founder and CEO of the Agbe Company Limited, a social enterprise in Ghana since 1996. I can say I am born into an entrepreneurial family. And I have been doing bits and pieces from my childhood till it's just a drive. I just love putting things together, reaching people, meeting people, and making sure they get what I'm making money out of whatever, and to keep things going. Even my parents think I'm too small, but they couldn't stop me. But I keep sneaking and just satisfying any demand I see around. And I did that till 1984. I found myself in Nigeria. In 95, I realized that there's a lot of demand for a sugar bread in Nigeria, which they call Ghana bread. But there are not a lot of people. It's just a few Ghanaians who makes that in their leisure time. But I find a way around to get a bakery to produce it in a large quantity to kind of involve other young women to make sure that we satisfy the demand as much as we can. I did that up to 86 until there's no more flour in Nigeria. So I came back to Ghana and came to continue my education. And then I decided that I had enough of doing business. So I wanted to, I started looking for a job as a stenographer, secretary, and all that. But I wasn't getting it. Nobody was actually minding me. And I did a lot of cross-border businesses. I was like, I had enough of running around. So I spoke to friends that I'm looking for a job because I must survive, whether I get the particular job I'm looking for or not. Anything, even if it's cleaning, I'll do it. But to do business again, no, I won't do it. And so there's this lady in our church who worked with an export company, who one day came and said, oh, you know what, there's this lady that string our beads for us, for our exports. So we gave her so much order this time, and she said she needed a hand. And she told them that she have somebody, so I should come to their office. And lo and behold, when I went, the lady accepted me and two others. And so I went there. So I love using my fingers, so I enjoy doing it. Little did I know that that's another way that God is bringing me back into business. So after we finished the order, and she liked me, she decided to train me, and I accepted it up to a point. Then I told her she wasn't getting any more orders, so I asked her if she could help me. In fact, we had an exhibition in one of the biggest galleries in Ghana. So the gallery owner also liked me. So when she wasn't getting an order, I told her that if I could go and work with those people with her permission, because she introduced me. And when I went there, it's a big place, and I actually learned the practical side of it, a professional way of doing business. And I worked there for about 3 to 4 years. And then I came out to register my own company to start with the beading. And with time, I went back to the company where I got the woman from. It's an export company. I became one of their export companies after. That was 92 and 98, 99. I joined that group as one of the exporters. Handicrafts added to the beads.
I have so many questions. I've written down 3 already just from her opening.
Yeah. So as I go along, people keep coming. I'm one person who doesn't have a no for an answer. So people keep coming. Do you have this? Do you have that? And I had a mentor who thinks that I can do anything. So anybody who comes to him and said they are looking for this, he just said, Comfort, where are you? Somebody is looking for this. I said, I don't have it. He said, go and look for it. So that's how come I landed myself in shea butter. And I have been exporting since 1999 up to date.
Wow. Well, Ceri, thanks for being on the show. Ceri has been on and watched in support of the other inspiring women in the past, first and second show. We want to hear from you, your inspiration, your passion, your commitment, please.
Okay, so my background, I'm an interior architect by profession, but I haven't worked in that business for a few years now. My husband and I came back to Dubai. I originally came to Dubai when I was 22, yeah, a long time ago.
Keith, how do you know?
He's been doing his research. So way back in the day was when I first came to Dubai, and fell in love with it. It's got its good points, it's got its bad points, but it's definitely got some real hold over me. Anyway, I was here for 5 years at that point, working in the interiors business, mostly with hotels and palaces, high end anyway, interiors. I went back to the UK. I set up my own business in design in the UK and had that for about 12 years there. And then my husband got offered to come back to Dubai by his company. So we came back here. Again, I worked in the interiors business for a few months when we came back here. And then I decided, it's not for me anymore. So I'm a really creative person. I'm a busy person. I need to be busy. So I started looking around for what I could do to fill my time. And I came across Rags to Riches, which was a small hobby group at that time, of ladies who are making items of clothing to send to orphanages, refugee camps, sort of communities who are really struggling, sort of anywhere in the world. So people could come on, sort of contact us and ask, say they're going to their home country or they're going to visit a country, and they would contact us and ask for certain items of clothing, or orphanages would contact us and ask for certain things, and then we try and partner up with somebody who is traveling to that country to take them. So Barbara, who founded Rags to Riches, has now actually retired and returned back to the UK. So when she was ready to take a step back, she sort of asked, was anyone willing to take it on? Which is when I took it over with my counterpart in Abu Dhabi. So we've got the Dubai is the main base, and then we've got another sort of base in Abu Dhabi, which is still a little bit smaller than the Dubai one, but it's growing. Hopefully, it's coming along. But now we've turned into quite a big sort of entity now. We've got over 270 members, and I think actually recently that's increased again. I have to have a look at it, but since the lockdown all came about, we've actually increased in members over that. I think with people looking to how they could be busy. So it's all people who just volunteer and make the items, and then we send them out. So I mean, now we do clothing and we do reusable sanitary products, and that's one of our biggest sort of legs of the business now. So yeah.
Before we move on, when you said it's not for me, did the industry change? Why wasn't it for you?
It just suddenly seemed very I don't know, the circles I was working in, something suddenly hit me that I was doing a lot of work for people that, I don't know, a lot of money being spent, but for no real good.
Yeah.
Okay. And it seemed very sort of vacuous all of a sudden, where I just thought, I'm not sure I want to be in this. This is people who've just got way too much money. They just don't know what to spend it on next. And I just didn't want to be a part of that. So
it sounds like you hit I guess a fork in the road where you wanted to either use your talents to make an impact or just make money for rich.
Yeah.
Have you read that book, Ceri, called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari?
I've actually got that sitting on my sideboard at the moment. It's on the list. Yeah.
Yeah, because as you said that, I'm like, that kind of sounds like the premise of that story.
Oh, right. Okay. Mm.
Yeah, because it's like someone that was like in this kind of profession that was financially fulfilling, but like, like spiritually and like holistically, they just were not fulfilled. And they just said like, my happiness is more important than money.
Yeah. And I mean, we're very fortunate having this here in the UAE, because the UAE is so transient that all of our fabrics that you can see on the shelves here, these are all sort of old bed linen, curtains, any fabric that people want to get rid of as they're moving on and they don't take these things with them. And we take those. So this sort of business model, we're not a business, but the business model runs on absolutely no money. We're all volunteers. All of our fabrics and things are gifted to us. We turn those into brand new clothes, and they get sent out by people who are actually personally carrying these things to whichever country they're going to. Wow. So it's incredible how it works. And I know it wouldn't work everywhere. It is very particular to being in the UAE of how we get it out to so many places, because obviously it's such an international hub here. You've got people coming and going from all different countries everywhere, and it's very transient. You've got a lot of expats coming for a very short amount of time, leaving. They don't want to take these things with them. So it's very, very particular. This model is very particular to this geographical area, but I still think it can work elsewhere as well. So I mean, currently we make things and we send them out. One of the things that Famida and I would love to be able to do would be to sort of take what we do and teach people how to make the products that we make, and try to empower women in these communities and, see them standing on their own 2 feet and giving them something that they can look after themselves with, not just having to take all, the charity all the time, because that's soul destroying for somebody. It's all well and good us doing it, but it can be quite soul destroying for people when they have got nothing and just have to receive all the time,
Right.
So it sounds like it's time to take your show on the road then, Ceri.
It definitely is. It definitely is. And I want it to get bigger and bigger. The downside of being here in the UAE is we can't be a charity. So, we're busy investigating all the different ways that we can still do what we do and be legal, and it not cost us a fortune to do it either, because that would be crazy, for us to set up a legal entity, but then to be sort of bogged down with having to make money to pay for an office, to pay for all the licensing, to pay for, do you know what I mean? Because what we do right now, we don't need that, but to be legal, we do need that. So it's a real catch-22 at the moment. So,
what's enamoring to me in this being our 3rd episode is when you think of entrepreneurial women, you think of women out to get money, but the narrative for most of our 12 awardees so far has been empowering women. And that's been a reoccurring theme. What feedback are you getting?
It's really heartwarming, the feedback that I get. I think I'm quite a natural leader, and I sort of fell into this position and I've grown what we do. And a lot of people sort of say, oh, I'm so glad you're doing this because I want to use my skills and I want to do good, but I wouldn't know how to do it if you weren't directing us. And so, and now I'm getting a lot more publicity and a lot more, like this sort of thing. I'm so honored to be recognized on this platform as well. It's just incredible because, I'm not African. I do a lot of work in Africa, and I would love to do more there, but it's humbling for me to be recognized on this platform, it really is. And people do sort of see what I do now, and I'm definitely getting more recognition, but I'm not in it for the recognition, but yes, it does keep you going, that people can see that it's good and it's doing good in the world. And yes, getting recognized for that does sort of spur you on and make you think, this is worth carrying on.
Right. In Miss Comfort, Ceri just told us a response to the question, and I would also like to hear yours regarding some of the feedback you get from people who are watching you. You mentioned that you didn't think people were watching your work and inspired by it. But once again, there's many times in my profession as an educator, there'll be somebody who will send me a Facebook instant message, and it'll be a kid from 2002 telling me that I told him something that inspired him. It happens all the time. What type of feedback do you get for the work that you do?
A lot and a lot. I'm somebody who has passion to make impact. I don't believe in putting things in people's hands. I believe in empowering people to be independent. So I always carry people along. Empowering, just like Ceri just said, that I want women to be independent, to have to build their confidence and capacity in whatever they are doing, so that they can be independent and have confidence in whatever they are doing without depending on me. There are a lot of things I do. when I do medical outreach, I go to communities and all that. But one thing, I was telling somebody that I see myself as a business planter. And to be honest with you, just like Ceri said, I'm also somebody who shy away from the media. Because I'm not doing the thing so that I can be seen, because it's something that needs to be done. So I'm just filling a gap. So I don't really want to, but people have been watching.
Yeah.
So when I get into a community and I want to help a particular group of people, I look for somebody who has the potential to lead them, so that it will be one of them leading them. So I just look at who can do this among you. This is what we are coming to do. Is there anybody here who have any experience in that area? Somebody say yes. Or, I mean, when you are with a group of people, some people actually emerge. You can really see a leadership in some people. So I quickly pick them. There are some people who can just get up and do things for themselves. There are some that need to be carried along. There are some that need to be pushed. So you see these people, and then I just pick one of them and said, okay, all of you here, this is what we are doing. It will take us this time, but this your friend, this your sister will be the one that will be leading you. And then we give instruction to that person. Then I leave them. Then I move on to somewhere else, because they have to do it. By seeing one of them doing it, we encourage them that they can also do it, because they were all in the same community. How come she is doing it? That means I can also do it. But if I'm there doing it, it's like I'm not telling them that they can be independent. So I believe in empowering people to be independent. Yeah. And I mean, actually fish for themselves.
Yeah, what they see is what they'll be. Ceri, this morning, she prompted me to think about what someone who would join this platform and view this particular episode, what would they be thinking, about? Why would they tune in? And the things that I thought about was they want to hear about the hurdles, the struggles, maybe the humility, and the vulnerability of some people who have ascended. And when I thought about you, Ms. Comfort, I thought, wow, the saying that it takes 8 to 10 years to be an overnight success, that comes true because you've done a lot early to get to where you are. Yeah. And I think a lot of people want to know what were some of the obstacles? Were you ever thinking about quitting? What are some of the frustrations that you've dealt with in your work?
Well, in fact, when I started all over again, from the beat that I started with all over again, I just started with 1 scissors, a cutter, and a plier with a thread in my hands. Learning how to finish a jewelry is something that I appreciate learning from the woman who trained me. And so it opens my eyes to looking around people's neck, how their jewelries are looking, and I gently approach them. Say, oh, madam, good afternoon. Your necklace is nice, but the finishing is not good enough. I can do that for you. So, I mean, from that humble beginning, I go to people's home and they spread their beads for me, and I string for them and I get paid. And so whatever money I get, I divide it into what can keep me going, what I can invest in a particular accessory that I need to be able to work for another person. I keep investing in that gradually, because if I don't wear the necklace myself. I don't wear necklace myself. I mean, this is all I can wear, as you're seeing on my neck. So I really appreciate my customers who wears a lot. And the little that I have, when I got what can take me to an exhibition, I always set up and go around and exhibit. Whatever I get from there, I make sure that I reinvest into the business and save something to keep me going to the next exhibition. Monthly exhibitions, I go to every monthly exhibition, and this woman, Kati, the one who trained me, will never leave me out. She keep updating me. There's an exhibition here, there's an exhibition there, and I make sure that I always save some money for the next exhibition and the new things that people may. I listen to customers, because without them, I'm not in business. So whatever they ask, that is what I do. So I keep improving from one customer to another, improving on the feedback. And when I had organized an exhibition with one of my former colleagues at a workplace. She was into batik. Then I said, okay, what we are getting here is at the workplace is not enough. But for me, if I leave this job right now, I will not be able to survive. But you still have your parents. So she resigned, and I joined her during my free time to look for a place, and we organized our own exhibition where we invited our friends and people who we think are potential sponsors or partners, to come. And so when they came, from there, one person, he didn't even come to the exhibition, but by looking on the invitation card, said that, oh, this lady is into beads. I want to meet her. And he became my mentor. And in 1999, when there is an exhibition in Japan, she took some of my bead samples. In fact, they encouraged me to come with them, but I told them I'm just starting, so I can't start by borrowing money to travel. The travel will come at the right time, but with my own money, but not to borrow money to travel. So they should just take my product along and see if anybody will be interested. I made a complimentary card. I gave them my complimentary card. They sent it. And lo and behold, before the second day of the African exhibition that was in Japan, people started calling me. By the time they came back the following week, I've already sent a sample to this guy in Japan, and who sent me an order for about 8,500, and that was a hell, because he didn't give me any money, no deposits. And how am I going to, anybody I approach, they are like, you, this small girl, do you know that person from anywhere? And look at the amount of money you are mentioning. Where? How? And so by building a relationship, having a good relationship with those who supply me the beads, in fact, I took a loan from the workplace, and I was left with 50 cedis, that is 5 cedis today, about $1 at the time. Right. So I quickly took it to one of the producers. He had the capacity, but I always buy from him. So we have that relationship. He knows anytime I buy, I pay back and all that. So I just took it. I said, you know what? I know we all need money. We need business, okay? I've got this breakthrough, but I don't have money. This is all I have. Can you take it and start producing? And as I continue talking to the buyer, and then he will be able to give us some, at least 50% or something. Say, oh, it's too small. I say, yes, I know, but let's try it. Right. So he also took that small money, and that's how come he produced about 50%. And I went back again. There's still no money. I went back with post-data check. I said, you take the check, don't cash it. I'll bring money. So I went back again, and the man finally sent money. And I went to the bank, and they gave me the money. So it was a financial struggle, but just being determined to make sure that, I mean, this is an opportunity, and by all means, I have to make it. So it was a struggle, but I am somebody who always makes sure that I press the done button no matter what it will take me.
Comfort, you mentioned mentorship a few times now, stating like you had a mentor along the way and these kind of things.
Yeah.
And also in the beginning you were saying about how you weren't aware that other people were watching your moves, but like just from listening to your anecdotes just now and like your stories about business and like what you've been through, I'm actually learning some things right now as well, like in terms of that perseverance, and no matter how little that you have, you can still push forward like with something. I mean, you've been in business for over 23 years. I mean, that's a huge testament to what someone can do just by their own willpower. So like I definitely applaud you for that. I had a question for Ceri. Ceri, I was saying that maybe by the way that you were talking, it sounds like you're ready to take your show on the road. And I kind of like really meant that, whereas if you really want to empower those communities that you're actually donating to and those orphanages and those women on the ground, then I mean, a lot of your other fellow awardees, both this year as well as last year, can definitely link you up with some things so you can actually be in those communities and teach those vocational and hard skills to them.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping, and the more like this sort of thing that I sort of get to know people and network with people, that's perfect, Obviously, we need to try and find a way to finance it all, and all of those hoops to jump through too.
I was going to ask you that. So you mentioned that there's 270 plus members, in our Rags to Riches, and now you said like they're all volunteers and kind of just like doing this for like their passion and maybe a little bit of boredom, Yeah. So how do you guys finance the material and the shipping costs and all this?
Well, that's exactly it, because the material costs everything's gifted to us. There are certain things, yes, of course, so I've bought a printer, I buy the ink, myself, and that sort of thing. There's always those small costs. But as far as sort of shipping things, that's what we don't do at the moment. That's the hardest part for us. So everything we make gets taken personally by somebody. So if somebody was going back to their home country, they might contact us and say, look, I sponsor these children in this orphanage. Can I take this to them? Or we've had a guy from Uganda who runs an orphanage in Uganda who comes over to Dubai and does the African arts exhibition in Sharjah and that sort of thing. And we have a really good relationship with him. So he takes a lot of things back from us. We have relationships with people like Tribe X and UAE trekkers who take people out on sort of holidays, retreats, yoga retreats and things like that. They go do sort of climbs. There was one last year where they climbed Kilimanjaro. And what they tend to say to the people that they're taking is you have to leave 5 kg of luggage space to take, because one of their ethoses is wherever they go, they'll leave that place better than they found it. So they'll take items from us and take them to the communities, take them to the villages as they travel through these places and distribute things like that as well. So at the moment, our distribution costs are zero because it goes personally with people. But obviously now, this whole virus has put a real spanner in the works there. So, I've got all these amazing women who are making for us and no means of getting these things out anywhere right now. So that has, that's sort of started the process of us thinking, actually, we need a plan B here because one, obviously nobody's traveling right now and there is still cargo going, but we don't have the facility to send anything cargo. So that's something we need to look at again, So it's all readdressing the whole plan really again.
Yeah, well, it's a good in a way. It's good in a way that that you do have this time to reflect and also to look forward of pivoting and diversifying the way that things are distributed. As well as I just had a couple suggestions for you. Maybe I mean what do I know?
Absolutely, yeah.
Just a couple suggestions from me.
Completely open to suggestions.
Just from like a CSR perspective, maybe there are some companies that would love to sponsor you guys, just like in terms of your distribution. And then obviously, we come in contact with quite a few people. I know William does as well from a UAE Africa Networking Group that are on the ground, particularly in Africa. That would be those good distribution points. I mean, you guys should be so busy. You don't know what, all your shelves should be empty.
Yeah, they should, shouldn't they? Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we'd love, to get it all out there and get it further and get people hearing about it. And then hopefully being able to get out there and show these communities how they can do these things for themselves and empower that, as we were talking earlier.
Ceri, I want to connect you. I put the link down in the chat. We've had a guest on Global Brothers podcast, a 2-time guest. She's the only person that's repeated. She is an actress and a singer. She's been in a few movies, but one of her biggest roles was Nala in The Lion King on Broadway.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So her name is Chantel Riley, and she does some phenomenal work with Khan Academy in Nigeria. So I want to connect you to, and you can look at that.
Amazing. Thank you.
You're going to definitely be, and I might even find the YouTube clip for the trailer, but I put that their website in the chat. So that's one of the things. When people join our Zoom rooms or when they look at our podcast, many times it's a networking session. It's another place to build. It's another place to meet new people. So folks that are in the room, please make sure you put your IG and your maybe your email, your social media handles down there so we can connect. But I definitely want you to connect with Khan Academy.
Wow, that would be amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, and great work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. It's Comfort. I wrote some questions.
Okay.
And
we also have a question.
We do. Yeah. Let's take questions from the chat.
Yeah, we have a good friend to the show, Trey Liu, wants to know how can those in the U.S. be of support to either one of your businesses. Comfort, I guess you first. Do you ship to the U.S.?
Yes, I ship to the U.S. U.S., Canada, Japan, some other places. And my focus is, whatever comes out from my business should be able to go a long way to touch other lives, because I have a nursery. There's a village where there has never been a nursery. In fact, my own village, because I've never been to a nursery. So, and at this time around, I realized that, children have been loitering around, and you need somebody to work with. And so a female pastor was posted to the village, and when I discussed with her, she just agreed. And now she started with 12 children, and then now we have about 3 classes if we were to be. And these children are very happy, go home, and it leads me to their parents to encourage them that we are taking care of your children. It's direct employment that we have given you, because if we are taking care of these children, whatever you are doing, you have a peace of mind that your children are in a safe hands. So in any way that they think they can support those who are helping in any way, we are not asking them for anything, but they should know that we are all working together. And so anybody who wants to help to really take care of these children. I have a youth choreography, because these young people just go out in the evening. There's nothing to occupy them. And I got this guy who can really teach. And I went to the village. Within 3 days, we were able to train about 40 youth. And they were so excited. They are now going to the church, people are hiring them to come and entertain here and there at other programs. And it's like, it's something that they enjoy so much. Anytime I go to the village, I don't know how they got to know that I'm around. Before I could say that, they are all gathered. Whether they are those who are writing exam, make sure they hurry up quickly and come out. I also have a youth, the communities that we support from the prison. I have a partner who works with all the prisons in Ghana, and then we support them and other communities. I have some program that we are working on right now. They are making donation today in one of the communities. I'll share those with you. So anybody, anything, we just want to make sure that we are all together.
So a quick question for you from that then, Comfort. Through your website for your business, like, do you have all those initiatives kind of listed down, that if someone just went on like one central place, they can find information on each?
I just redesigned my website last week, but
okay.
I have a lot on my Facebook.
Okay, Facebook.
The things we do on my Facebook page. There are pictures there, there are videos there, and all that.
Okay, yeah. Be sure to put your Facebook information into the chat area as soon as you can. Okay. We have a question for Ceri from our good friend Lorraine, Acoustic Creations, good friend of the show. She's a designer. And she says, Ceri...
She is a phenomenal designer.
For sure, 100%. Phenomenal. How could I forget that word? So she says, have you considered, Ceri, collaborating with one of the technical arts colleges or fashion institutes, I suppose, here in Dubai?
It's a good question.
No. Is the answer to that, to be honest. It's quite hard at the moment until we get a legal license. It's quite hard to work with education institutes. A lot of them want to know that you have everything in line like that. And we've grown from being just a hobby group into this sort of, platform that we are now. So no, I haven't done that as yet. I have worked with schools where some of the girls who are doing their IB in particular, they have to do a sort of social element with that certificate. And a lot of them have taken on our reusable sanitary ware and taken that element and learned how to make it. And, the schools here do an amazing sort of school trips. So a lot of them they've been to Nepal, they've taken some of the sanitary ware to Nepal, they've been out to, where are they going next? They were supposed to be going to Uganda, some of them, which obviously got cancelled this year. But some of the senior schools have taken it on with us, like that. And we've taught them, but no, I haven't gone into sort of the fashion institutes where I guess they could help us sort of making and designing some of the clothing ranges that we do.
Do you work with lower grades, like the elementary?
We have done on the level of getting them to understand, and see a picture of the world outside this little bubble in Dubai, sort of thing. So I did with Global International School, they asked me if I'd come and talk to some of the kids. We did that, and then for their winter festival, I had a stand there telling them about what it was that we did. The kids all brought a small toy, one of their own toys, to gift to us, and we sent those out to an orphanage in Uganda. That was again, and then the kids in Uganda, the kids had done little notes, tied it around the toy's neck to sort of say, you know, this is mine, and I hope you love him as much as I do. Sent them out. Then we got photos from the orphanage of the kids receiving all these gifts, and then I took, on International Day, I took a board with all the photos of the kids receiving the gifts, took it back to Horizon International School, and the kids sort of learned about Uganda, and it really connected for them. You know, it made it much more real for them to like see their toy that's gone from their house, traveled, and land up in the hands of this child, you know, who is sitting there beaming and, you know, so overjoyed to have these things. So that was a really good one, in that it made the kids think. And these kids were like, you know, little kids, 7, 8 years old, you know. So
yeah, I asked because I just joined a company, a school that is pre-K through 5, and I'm working on the core values of that school. One of the core values, I can assure you, is civic and community leadership. And like you said, getting them to see out of their bubble, but also getting them to think about making an impact in the world. So I'll be talking to you more about maybe coming in and maybe even getting our students to work on garments or work on, you know.
For sure, there's things they can do, you know, from such a tiny age. There's things they can do.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll definitely talk soon.
So 2 things. Ceri, for sure, check down in the chat. There's quite a few messages there for you in terms of from donations to people wanting to help you get connection to collaborations for the Fashion Institute. So definitely put your information there as well, so they can get in contact with you directly.
Sure.
Yeah, because if they call us, then we're going to take 10%. You don't want that.
10% of nothing.
So listen, I'm really interested in what you said earlier, Ceri, and this goes to Comfort as well as yourself, that you said it's not just enough to be doing things here on your machine and giving charity. And I'm super against this word charity. I'm very much into, yes, paying it forward, but paying it forward in terms of know-how and hard skills.
Yeah.
Vocational skills are so important that we teach a man to fish, so that he can continue to do that for, you know, like the rest of his life, as well as to teach others. So that's so essential, and like collaboration is what we need to do. So I mean, like, we all now know so many talented people. We know the connections that we need. Obviously, we see just from a platform like ours and UAE Africa Network that you can meet so many people through that can link you to others. You know, so this is for you know, Comfort as well as for Ceri. Like, I want to share this with you guys, that recently there was a group of Ghanaian visitors here, and they were looking for work a little bit before the whole lockdown happened, and they pretty much got stranded here.
Yeah.
So,
I've been watching that story.
Yeah.
So sad.
Yeah, exactly. So that story has been going around. Like, you know, I've become like involved in it, trying to help them out. Like, you know, Heath has been trying to help them out. William from like UAE Africa has been trying to help them out as well. And what I take from that is that today, one of our friends actually went down to where they're staying, and they wouldn't let them in with like actual like food and goods, and they just said, no, just give cash donations to the so-and-so society, which is with the government. And it's like, okay, we understand, but it's not just about money. It's like these people just need like maybe like like to see a kind face and like a smiling face, and like, you know, like to hear like, you know, somebody that cares, like that goes so much further as well. Yeah. But so I thought in my mind, like, long story short, sorry, I thought in my mind that, well, why don't we like kind of cut the situation off at the head? Because why do some people that maybe don't have the means spend everything they have to travel to another country? Because it must be really bad in their country. So with what you guys are doing with, like, you know, Comfort shea butter and beads and, you know, like your like sanitary pads and like the rest of your craft work, like if you were able to like create facilities in those countries, whereas people can get employment in those countries.
Yeah.
Then they would have meaningful employment where they are. They wouldn't have to travel to dangerous places or even like places that they can't afford to stay and these kind of things, in bad situations. What do you guys think of that?
Oh, for sure. For sure. You know, I mean, I'm all for people traveling around the world and learning from different countries and doing things like that. But no way should anyone have to come out of their home country to sustain themselves. You know, that there's got to be a better way.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm training the women and the young people, I've trained over thousands of women in bead stringing. I mean, I used to move from school to school to teach the school children how to make necklaces for their families when they are traveling, instead of them going to buy from the market. It should be something that they made with their hands to give to share with their family. So I always encourage them to be here and add value to the things we have around. The first two ladies I got, they are from the up north, where these young people come down to the city to carry loads in the market. But when they brought them, and this organization brought them to me to train them into shea butter, and their passion to willing to learn and be independent. After training them, I haven't taken money from the organization then. I was just driven by their passion. So when we finished, I asked their organization, how much will you pay me for training those ladies? They mentioned the amount. I said, you know what? I'm giving it to them as a seed capital, so that I'm just moved by their passion. Just give it to them. And today, one of them is supplying body shop. She built her own factory. I don't see her as a competitor. And now when people call me up north to come and train, I just direct them to her. And those that came for beading, I mean, they all have their own shops. And I'm their friend on Facebook. When they ask me to come to up north and train, I just give their number to them, that let them do it. So it's their own people. They speak the same language. I mean, they see them doing it, and so that they can be able to do it.
That's awesome.
I remember when we started, after training them, we give them the exposure. If there's an exhibition somewhere, we took them there so that they can get the exposure of the market. And at one exhibition, when I visited them, they actually called their sisters who are in the city carrying load in the market, who are sleeping in open places at night. They invited them to the exhibition. When I came, I saw two different people. I said, who are these people? They said they are our sisters who are here in the city carrying loads. So we invited them to come and see us here to be an encouragement for them, that the street and the carrying loads is not where they belong to. They can also be where they are. Seeing them among these people, business people, having things in front of them made by themselves.
Absolutely.
So we have a lot back home to do, and get all the money up there is what, for me, if you ask me, all I need is markets and distributors to sit right here and add value, and somebody sell all out there for me to empower my people. And I'll go down to every village. I don't care whatever it is, riding on a river or what. I want to go. As you say, I like what you said, that somebody just need a smile. Very, very important. That is very true. There's somebody, all that they need is just somebody to sit down for them to pour their heart out. And the person will just be listening. And they just go on and on and on. And then they are free. That is all they need. Somebody, just a smile. I remember I met a woman in the US 10 years ago. I didn't know. I just went for a program, and I was the first to arrive there. And I said, okay, let me just go out tomorrow. Everybody will be arriving. But let me go down and see, maybe somebody from Africa. And as soon as I got there, I saw somebody sitting down. She said, I smiled. I didn't know. But I came back and I asked her name. I went and I came back and I said, what's your room number? And so as soon as I entered my room, I called her. I said, oh, I have all high shoes here. I need something down. Do you want to go out? And we did. She said, yes. Then we went, and when we came back, she said, you know what? She always traveled with her husband. But she lost the husband 2 weeks ago. And now she's invited to this program. It was difficult for her. It's like, I've never traveled all by myself before. How am I going to manage? And here you come, and when you the first thing, when you saw me, you just smiled. And then you came back to take my room number. And then you called me. And now you're asking me, and you're just walking with me as if we have known each other from Adam. So you are my sister.
No,
And she's
awesome.
from Liberia. So all people need is somebody, the touch.
100%. 100%. That's why this COVID is so hard for everybody, because we can't have our human touch and hug each other and that kind of thing. For sure. But we're so happy for to have you ladies to share your stories. Obviously, you've been very, very inspiring to our audience in the chat, and I'm sure people listening later on our streaming service and our YouTube is going to be inspired by you as well. We want to give you both just like your final shot opportunity to say where people can find information about you for our listeners. So people that are not in the room, for our listeners, just verbally tell them how they can find you online, so your social media links, and any final message for everyone, just quickly. Ceri?
So just massive thank you again for this platform. It's brilliant. It's incredible to be here, and it's incredible to spread the word and grow what we do. As far as finding us, at the moment, our biggest sort of platform would be Facebook. It's just Rags to Riches UAE, and you can find all the rest of the information on there of where to find us. We're busy building the website at the moment, but that's taking us a little bit of time. So
awesome. And Comfort?
Yeah, thank you once again for giving us this great opportunity. Ceri, I'm so glad, and I really love what you are doing. I think we are just on the same line.
Thank you.
Yeah,
for sure.
Just on the same line. Yeah, and so I wish. Let's see how we can do, because I educate the young people on how to use sanitary pad. So one girl a pad. Yeah, one girl a pad. So I give them one pad and teach them how to use it, and the side effects of whatever they might, any other material.
We've definitely got to develop our relationship then.
Sure, yeah.
Excellent.
So thank you, viewers. We are so glad, and let's see how we can work together.
Definitely.
My email is comfortadjahoe-jennings@gmail.com, and Comfort Adjahoe-Jennings on Facebook, on LinkedIn, or my company, Agbe Company Limited, the Shea Shop, on Facebook, or +233 246152263 on WhatsApp. I put it on the link there. So we'll be happy to connect with all of you. And if I'm in Dubai next time, after the COVID, then we have physical meeting.
Awesome.
So let's schedule her for Global Brothers Podcast in person when she comes.
Hey, man, I want some shea butter and some beads as well. So she can't come.
No problem. No problem.
100%.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Heath, man, we've done it again. We've made some great connections. So happy to be able to host this platform, for everybody. Really, you guys give us as much life as you think that we're giving you visibility. You guys give us life, definitely, with sharing your stories and learning things from you, even if it's just humility alone. It's a wonderful lesson, because you guys are all so humble with your your great accomplishments and your big hearts. So thank you, ladies, very much.
These interviews down the line will mature. There will be people watching these interviews after we edit them and we upload them on our platform for a long time to come. But the time that we're in right now, I've been telling people in my family and on my social media platform that you could scroll on any other time than now, mostly. You can scroll down your timeline and see excellence, right? I mean, everybody we follow, everybody who influences us, we can take a look at those people and sort of try to find a way to cancel out some of the madness that's going on. So this is one of those examples right now, okay? That we can get away and go back to inspiring people. We don't have to just sit and look at maybe 5 to 10% of what's really happening in the world. There's a lot more good happening, I believe. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much again, and also to our partner, UAE Africa Networking Group. Thank you so much, Mr. William Stenhouse, for all that you do. Cool. As we always say at this time, live global and prosper. Peace. Check us out on YouTube, Global Brothers Podcast, and please subscribe and share and, continue to support, good content.
Tell everybody. Mr. Worldwide.